About what are the different steps you see and how might they be described? How might you describe them? So think about the words, Pro and Junie. Think about what words you can use to describe what you see. Notice this part of the step? What happened there? After we're finished all of that, going through each step, one at a time, talking and recording, we're going to do 3 steps, Miss Carrie. If you could maybe write them up there for us. Okay. The first step is we're going to talk for a few minutes, or for a minute, about what we want to record. We're going to talk. That's the first thing we're going to do. After that, we're going to decide. We're going to decide what we want to record, or maybe what you want to say in the recording. And then the last thing we're going to do is record.
One explanation. The graph, that's 2 explanations, and the equation. So you have 3 explanations of how did you find these answers using a table, a graph, and an equation. Okay? Alright, begin your work. For some of those that did not complete it or didn't quite understand, now's your chance. And I'm going to put parentheses up here in the book. That's what it looked like. When you get ready to multiply any type of fraction, change it into a decimal. Zero plus 0 plus 4 is 4. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. 0 plus 8 is 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14 plus 1 is 1 times 9 is. Okay, 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 9 is 0 plus 7 is 7 plus 1 is 3 plus 2 is. Oh wait, 589. I don't add the remainder. Oh, add the remainder. Okay. Add the remainder plus 28. Now I want you to give a name to your partner's quadrilateral.
So you have to circle, highlight, put a box around that answer, so Ms. Trundle and I know that that is what your answer is, or rewrite it. So we're estimating 33 to be about 30%. And we calculated 30% of 150, which is 45.
No.
That's my final.
Evan? All right. Sid?
Round.
Multiplication.
If our percent ends
So we
in
get
a
rid of the
0
word,
or
use the
1 or 2
maximum
or
instead.
like 33.
Now with 150,
We're
I already
gonna round
keep
that
150.
down to
But
30.
since I'm dealing with
So
a
the
fraction to begin with,
33%,
I want
we're gonna round it
150 in
down to
fraction
30.
mode as well.
What are we going to round?
So to
51
put
to?
150 into fraction format, what does 150 go
What are we going to
over?
round 62 to?
Over 1.
60.
There we go.
You guys with me on that?
And now all you
So if it
have,
ends in a 0, 1, or 2, or 3,
You
we're
have
going to
a
round it
multiplication
down
problem with
to
two
the
fractions.
closest multiple to 10.
okay, how do I multiply fractions?
Look at number 5. So I'm skipping 4. If it ends in a 7, 8, or a 9, we round that sucker up.
Do I
So
need common
28,
denominators?
what do we round that to?
Tell me that. Do I need common
89,
denominators to
what do we
multiply?
round that to?
What do
90.
you think?
18.
No, you don't.
Twenty,
You
guys
only need
understand
common
that?
denominators when
I think the benefits of working together is we're able to share responsibilities and we're able to work more with students who need individual attention or attention in a small group setting, we're able to pull those away without taking away from the rest of the class. I think that's one of the greatest benefits.
Yeah, I think definitely you kind of play off each other and share ideas, and some things just come real naturally based on your kids. And it's really knowing your kids and knowing how to split them up and what's the best setup for your classroom.
The benefits are being able to work together, being able to share responsibilities, being able to help children when they need it.
Because they might do something for her that they're not doing for me, or vice versa, or I might see something differently than she sees it. It's two sets of eyes.
I love it. I honestly didn't think I'd like it at first, and now I love it. So, and I can't imagine not coming in and care of my daughter. It's very hard when we have sub.
It's great to have another person to bounce things off of, another adult in the classroom. We kind of finish each other's sentences. If one is teaching and the other one's helping a student and this one has to do, we just switch. It's just been great. It's been flowy and meshy, and we're kind of, it's just, we're the same. It's smooth, yeah, we're the same.
Just to be able to bounce off ideas on each other and to be able to like plan together. This is my first year in second grade, so it's been wonderful having Courtney as like almost my mentor. Oh, I know, I'm sweet. Sweet.
One of the challenging things is when you're so used to having your own classroom, your own things, doing things your own way, it's hard to have someone come in and have to put their things into your room and kind of have some input into how you run your classroom, how you run your day. But I think if you're really open, those things kind of work themselves out.
Challenges are just the time to get together, to plan out strategies for children and lesson plans.
Yeah. Even though we're in the room together, it's just time. We don't have that much of it because we're so busy with the kids.
Julie's taught me a lot with how to work with all the kids. It's intimidating to be in a whole classroom. So when you have 20 kids and when you're only used to, a few, she taught me how to, just be relaxed and all the kids are okay and this is how you work with all the different groups, and she made it a lot easier than what I thought it would be.
Well, I've learned not to be so stressful when I'm working with kids. Mandy's a lot of fun and she's a lot more laid back than I am, and I've learned to not have everything so planned out that it's easier.
And I really learned a lot of good strategies with some of the kids with special needs, even though I was a special ed teacher. I mean, it's just good to work with so closely with another special ed teacher, because when I taught before, I was just in an environment self-contained by myself.
She is very organized and very punctual, and I'm not. If I'm working with the student, I'll keep working, but she knows the clock, follows the clock, and she's very, very organized. She really keeps me in line. That's one of the things that I really like about working with Mrs. Bear. She just keeps me going in the right direction all day long. It's really good.
And I think for Mr. Sunday, I think a lot of it is he has the student relationships with the kids to make it fun, to make it a game, and also to have a lot of patience. Kind of what you were saying as keeping you on track is also really a positive, because you are taking that extra time and you are spending that extra needed time with the students. So I think definitely that works hand in hand.
Julie is good at the singing and the dancing and the arts and crafts type stuff.
No, you're the arts and crafts person.
Well,
I'm a science worms kind of person.
And so she does all that, whereas I'm really good at the paperwork.
She's awesome at the details. I'm not good at details. This was a match made in heaven, because we are opposite and the same.
Yeah.
So.
Good morning, everybody. We're going to start out with some teamwork time.
As you come up with websites, just take a moment and share those with us to make sure that that's going to give you information that's relevant for the project.
After that, you're going to create a research plan. Leah and I co-teach. I'm the social studies part of the brain, and Leah's the science part of the brain.
We're accountable to one another.
The reality is we both know each subjects pretty well. Just remember to post all your work in your team Google folder, and just so everyone has access to it.
Can I add a couple points, Mr. Morrill?
Sure.
When you did your benchmark 1 and you identified the cause and effects for each of the environmental and social issues, that information remains relevant. One thing that really excites me about co-teaching is that we find that the real world is not siloed into disciplines. So you take a problem like climate change, can you call that a scientific problem? Do you call that a social or political or economic problem? The answer is all of the above.
So now it's just a matter of putting deadlines to those benchmarks.
While co-teaching isn't always the easiest thing to do, it really models for the students the way we need to tackle problems in the real world. And so we have to make sure we understand each other's language. So what's the first step in your teamwork time?
Choose deadlines for all the benchmarks.
Good. And I think we had one conversation earlier in the year about what a theory is. A theory in social studies and a theory in science are totally different. For me, a theory is law. Having those cross-disciplinary conversations, I think, really enriches what we're able to offer the students. It's simplistic, but two minds are really better than one. Mr. Morrill and I will each be working with half of the teams, and we'll have one strategy we use that's helpful for the students is to take the teams, we have usually between 8 and 10 teams, and divide them between the two of us. And during that formative assessment period, when we're going around meeting with the students, they know who their key mentor is.
What do you know about that currently?
About our topic?
Right, how to answer that bullet point related to your topic.
I would look up another source because this tells you about its existence but not its impact.
Okay, say what it is.
Yep.
Give an example.
Yep.
We tend to keep tabs on and have more of a detailed analysis of what that particular team is doing just because it's smaller in number. Tomorrow when you have your meeting, that's one thing you'll be looking for accountability is making sure that everyone had that posted and complete. In terms of their content, one of the most helpful ways I found to formatively assess what they're doing is to get right on that Google Doc with them. Planning is key. We meet 2 to 3 times a week for common planning time. I think that real-time formative assessment is key. And if they don't get that feedback right away, they're walking down the wrong road.
Right.
During that time, we create our agendas for the class and we decide who's the lead for different activities and who's the support. And why don't I take the lead on helping them develop the need to know?
Okay.
And do you want to take the lead on
Developing the workshop?
The workshop?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's balanced.
Exactly.
Honestly, I think it comes down to a few basic things, and that's respect and openness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
communication.
And communication. Encourage the kids to show their passion. What is convincing versus not convincing look like?
I think that just having another brain there to say, well, why? Why do you want to choose that article and not this article slows you down enough to apply your full intelligence to your profession. And that's a content no need to know. So I would look at what you've already done for your benchmark 1 on your topic, put all that information as no, and then figure out what your gaps are in your research. And I can help you with websites.
What could be a cause for environmental racism? What are the effects of it? Excellent.
One thing I appreciate about this faculty is that, we're all expected to be flexible and innovate. And so if Tom has an idea, and I don't necessarily think it's a great idea, my job is to be willing to give that a try. I'm not so excited about the politicians. I might suggest modifications, but we have an experimental mindset. Maybe, we can build in some scaffolding around modeling.
The other day I was saying to Leah was trying to convince me of something. I said, Leah, I just don't get it. Convince me. And
Did I convince you?
On that point, I don't remember. I don't know if we resolved that one.
I think it'll remain a challenge for them to come up with something strategic and doable within the time frame.
The biggest role we take is helping coach them, make sure it is manageable.
Great. We try things, we learn, we modify, and so that sort of spirit of inquiry, having that between us has been helpful too.
Part of the reason why it appears we're on the same page is because we've gotten to this point through that process.